Hey there, welcome to Beyond the Boxes. Today we're going to be looking at auxiliary notes, which are a type of melodic tool. So let's say you've just learned a scale, you're not sure what to do with it other than run up and down it when you're improvising. So it's quite nice to have a toolkit of melodic devices that can help add structure to what you're doing, and auxiliary notes are one type of those. As I was talking about passing notes, so just very quickly, band's playing at like an A minor 7, and you've got the 4 notes that are in the chord, but then there's these other notes that are in the key but not in the chord, and so you can play them like this B. That's not in the A minor chord, but it's in the scale. But if you just stay on them for a long time, adds a bit of tension. So normally you can play them in passing, as the note suggests, between one chord tone, A, and C. So if I play, or if I was starting on E, trying to get to C, I could play the D note in passing. Right, but if I just stayed on the D, it's a little bit more up in the air, a little bit more unfinished. Anyway, so that's passing notes. The key difference is between passing notes and auxiliary notes. Passing notes, you're playing a note that's in between two different chord tones. So if I'm starting on A, I'm playing B on the way to C, a different note in the chord. Auxiliaries are where you play a note that's, so let's say you start on the A again. I go to the B like before, but this time I'm going to return to the note I just came from. So I play the A, play the B, back down. Say if on C, go to D. Instead of using the D as a way to get to E, I'm going to return to the C I started on. E could travel to F and back. You can be quick with it so that the listener barely notices. Or you could let the note linger and then resolve after. And obviously in every example so far, I've been playing a note that's in the chord and then playing a note that's above and then returning to it. But you can go the other way as well. So I can play a chord tone and descend and then return to it. So starting on A, down to G, back up. C, go down to B, go back up. E, go down to D, back up. So here's all the ascending ones, just in a row. And descending. And you can always mix this up, right? So you could have the pattern itself be ascending, but your overall line is going down. So or I could have a descending within the motif itself, but be slowly rising overall. And obviously I'm doing nothing but auxiliaries at the minute, so it seems a bit trite. But then, like anything, you don't just do constantly one type of idea. It's a mixed bag. When you're noodling around, you're probably playing these anyway. But it's nice to have put stuff in a category, I'll try to generally improvise and do a whole bunch of whatever happens, but just try to consciously occasionally do one of these auxiliary notes on purpose. So So the types of auxiliary notes I've been playing so far, they've all been diatonic, meaning they've all been in the key. So even though I've been starting on a chord tone and then going up or down and then returning to that same chord tone, it's always been, the note I've been going to has always been in the key. But you can also use this device in a chromatic way. If I have an A, instead of going down to G and returning, it can be just a G sharp. The distance between the C and the B was already a semitone, so. But obviously then you could make that a tone. Right, this was E to D and back. You could make that. Right, let me do a bit of that against the chord. Okay, so next time you're trying to improvise and you find yourself just kind of meandering up and down the scale, try to add some structure to your ideas by employing this auxiliary idea, by hitting a chord tone, going up or down, chromatic or in the key, and then returning to the same note you started on. See what ideas you can create. Alright, that's us. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.